Serious conversation happening in our city and probably all around the country, because what happens here definitely reverberates around everywhere. You know, with a shooting inside a public place here in Manhattan, you have Commissioner Bratton basically going out and saying something that sounds to everyone like he's attacking all of hip hop.
Quote, basically thugs that basically celebrate the violence that they live all their lives, and unfortunately that violence often manifests itself during the performances, and that's exactly what happened last evening. The music, unfortunately, oftentimes celebrates gun violence, celebrates the degradation of women, celebrates the drug culture, and it's unfortunate, use the same word much, dude, that they get fame and fortune, that when they get fame and fortune, that some of them are just not able to get out of the life, if you will.
Now, we can't act like there aren't people who have made hip-hop records and live in our culture that don't come from that street life. We can't do that.
Of course. Right.
We can be upset about what Commissioner Bratton is saying if we want to, but we also have to take some responsibility as well.
Mm-hmm. Both. There can be both, right? He said things that are accurate, but the way of describing hip-hop in a blanket statement and acting like he said, he made it sound in other parts of the statement as if this happens regularly.
Right.
I've been here for almost 10 years, never, and I've been in a million shows. Way rougher places than Irving Plaza with rougher artists that were on the bill. Never seen anything like that. That's not common anymore at all. It's not common at all. And it sounds like a personal, isolated thing that happened. It wasn't about the music. It wasn't about the T.I. concert yesterday at all. Now, listen, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that Troy Ave's music, that he doesn't glorify violence and drugs in his music. Of course he does. We know what Troy Ave's music's about. That's all right. That is what it is. But that, specifically, that incident that happened was about individuals, whatever happened. It wasn't about T.I.
It didn't have anything to do with music. Didn't have nothing to do with T.I. And it didn't have anything to do with music.
No, it had nothing to do with music at all.
But we have to take ownership for the way we talk on social media and the way we talk in these records, that when you put that energy out there, it attracts individuals who may not be artists, who are interested in that type of life.
Yes.
We also have to take ownership socially that a lot of us who come up through hip hop come from neighborhoods that have these things happening in those neighborhoods, and it bleeds over into the entertainment part of the lifestyle. What happened at Irving Plaza, the reason I said we all need to take responsibility is because obviously there's individuals who don't respect the code of conduct, which is you're never supposed to bring this to a public venue. You're never supposed to bring your issues that you have in the hood and in the street into a public place where all of us benefit from the music being made and the DJs who play it, the people who buy tickets, the bartenders, the security, the venues that allow us in their venues because we sell tickets. We all need to take responsibility. And I know people don't like that. People don't like, nah, I wasn't there. I was at home. I didn't have nothing to do with it. Nah, B. If you retweeted something you thought was funny, you played a record, you thought it was cool to put that out there. When this happens in hip hop, we all got to take ownership.
I think you're 100% right about that. Obviously, the most important thing that happened is that someone lost their life, right? A young person who was trying to do good things also, apparently, had a gym, was working on his own things. That man lost his life, and that's the most important thing.
And was somebody who put his life on the line for someone else.
Yes.
He was known for taking care of Troy Ave.
Right, and that's the number one tragedy that happened. But from a business and hip-hop standpoint, this is bad news. This is terrible news down the board, and you brought up a great point, which is that even people out there listening right now who think that when they contribute to all this social media bullying and violence talk that you're not putting energy in the air. Guys, we have watched the assault on Troy Ave on social media over the last 2 years. You don't think that any of these words ever add up to anything? You're wrong. And guess what? I'm a First Amendment person who believes in the First Amendment, who loves hip hop, who loves movies, who also believe that words matter. Words matter. That whole saying we were always told, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt you. Wrong. They lied. They told you that. Words will hurt you, especially when we just put them all in the atmosphere and think nothing's ever going to come around. Well, that energy all ended up in one room, and now someone's dead. Multiple people are shot.
And I'm sure as this thing plays out, we're going to find some new information, and you're gonna hear and see things that may surprise you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, in that video, what I saw, I saw somebody who I've seen in public and working on his career for a long time without any options. And he felt like that's what he had to do in that moment.
Now, it's still the wrong decision. But you're right. He looks like
That's not. I don't see someone who went there with that on his mind.
No, I don't think so either. There's way more to the story. Absolutely.
Now, listen, he may have went there with a concern.
No. Remember, T.I. is somebody who tried to sign Troy Ave. I also know for a fact that night Troy Ave and T.I. were working on a record. Like they wanted to record a song together. Troy Ave is working on his project.
He had a listening party that night. He was in a good space.
Yep.
So why would you go to one of your compadres' events trying to, especially knowing T.I.'s past?
Yeah, and by the way, hey police, if you're listening, don't worry, I'm not gonna say anything crazy. This has nothing. I know everyone's like looking at me like, Rosenberg, you can't just say that. This isn't about Mano. Stop just associating random rap crews because they're there. Mano and Murder were there. I know his name's Uncle Murder. It's very appealing for you. It's very easy. Well, this is a layup. No, Mano and Uncle Murder had nothing to do with that. They were just there.
Quick to do it. Me and Castle were talking about it. We,
Like, Mano ain't got
remember
nothing to do with
Castle
this?
1010 was like, Mano and Uncle Murder have a song called Shooters Everywhere. And that's what happened that night. There were shooters everywhere.
It's a cute line, guys. But that's
Like,
not what
come on,
happened.
guys,
That's not what
really?
happened. And I'll tell you another thing that didn't happen. Troy Ave didn't turn into a Columbine shooter and just walk into a club to start being a murderer. That wasn't his plan that night. There's more to the story. They can't just give us Troy Ave and say the whole story's over.
We're going to wait for the facts. What Commissioner Bratton is saying in code is, we've been trying to get this hip-hop out of Manhattan for a minute anyway. We've been telling clubs not to have hip-hop nights for a long time. We've been trying to shut down live performances in Manhattan for a long time. You know what Manhattan means to the United States of America?
Right.
And we just had a shooting in Lower Manhattan.
Gramercy.
Yo, check this out, fam. Get this out of here.
Pretty much.
That's what Commissioner Bratton is saying. Now, in some ways, we got to salute Mayor de Blasio. He's on the other side of this from Commissioner Bratton because he knows well enough to know that there's plenty of hip-hop that doesn't feed this.
Yeah.
But we also know, those of us that work in the music industry, Kenny Chesney country concerts are some of the most violent concerts in America.
No. Kenny Chesney?
Kenny Chesney.
Specifically Kenny Chesney?
Yes, they fight nonstop. Women, men, they stab each other.
Remember Ebro
What are they
when
doing? Have you ever heard Kenny Chesney? He's
Wait,
amazing.
remember Ebro when we were at Summer Jam and we were like...
The man
is
that
it-
runs
Yeah.
MetLife Security was like, I'll take 10 Summer Jams
Yes.
over one Kenny Chesney.
He said it himself. He was like, is this the worst? Is this the worst you have to deal with? And he was like, no. I was so surprised when Ebro told me that. I'm like, what?
Yes. So there's also a thing called death metal.
Oh, God.
Metal concerts, they get it popping, no problem. Now you'll say, but that's different than shootings, but people are still dying.
You know, stuff happens.
The EDC, the electric whatever, they don't even let them party in the parking lot. There were so many people dying from pills and overdoses
drugs.
and all that.
Yeah.
Listen, the bottom line is when people get together and party hard at night, bad things happen. That is just a
But I'm
fact
just
of
saying
life.
it's not just hip hop.
No, that's my point is that with hip hop, over my observation over the last 10 years in this city, it happens with hip hop barely at all. I don't see it. I never feel a threatening
Well, because
situation.
there's, like I said in the beginning of this conversation, there is a understanding that street life, while it's talked about in the records, it doesn't come into the performance venue because that's the opportunity
That's the essence of the whole thing.
for that artist to get out of and make money expressing herself. And the security and the bartenders and everybody can participate, and it's supposed to be for us to come together and share our stories and our experiences and have a good time.
Yeah, you live off the club. That's the essence of it. That's how the whole thing survives.
So we're gonna be having this it's not going away, guys. I hope this ain't like one of those blog posts that go up one day. It's not going away anytime soon. See, bro, in the morning.